Hi, this is Matt with Intergalactic Herald. Welcome to my Star Atlas Week in Review podcast. This is podcast number 94. Any articles or videos mentioned can be found on my website at intergalacticherald.com. Just look for news recap number 143. So a quick summary of things I'll be going over here. The local markets were released, so that was great news. There was some content about that. And the Atlas Brew also occurred, which, again, talked about the local markets. And then I'll get into my kind of two regular segments, the state of Star Atlas, and kind of my journey playing Star Atlas. But before I get to that, just a couple quick things to mention about things I'm doing in Star Atlas. I still have my pip, but I've kind of let that kind of sit there because not a lot going on in the DAO and the pip process right now. So, but do want to mention, I do have my merch store at Intergalactic Gear. That's intergalacticgear.com. Officially open for business, selling some mugs. Do have a merch survey, still trying to get more products out. But I'm taking a little time off for a winter break between the holidays. So hopefully I'll get something done. I've tentatively said I'll work an hour a day on it. So who knows? Anyway, but again, appreciate you. Check that out. Again, intergalacticgear.com. And kind of on the back burner, I do have my kind of gamer community for Star Atlas that, again, would prefer not a member of a guild, or just not interested in the Star Atlas Discord because it's more chat-based. This would much be more about discussions, threads. You can get alerts, email alerts when there's updates, so you can kind of be a little more asynchronous, but yet still keep up on communication. So if people are interested in that kind of community format, I definitely encourage you to go to intergalacticcoalition.com and fill out that Enter survey. So again, like I mentioned at the beginning, the big news of the week, past week anyways, was the local markets released. AFIA has a great guide for that. You can check that out again on my website, Intergalactic. I got too many intergalactic sites. Intergalacticherald.com. Look for news recap number 43. So that's a really great thing. And then OGC Thor had a kind of day of video where he was kind of doing a quick looking at the different user interfaces and showing how it works. So both those links are in there. The Atlas Brew did occur this past week, and again, they focused a lot on the local markets. But before they got into that, they did have a couple announcements. One, there will be a Star Atlas Town Hall coming up on December 18th, which I believe is the Wednesday, because they said that'll take the place of the Atlas Brew. They did stress that, again, this is probably just updates, no announcements. Will be pretty long. They were mentioning probably 2 hours. So I think, again, this is a great thing to kind of, talk about things. Pretty much sounds like probably no releases, so no one should get their hopes up. And then they also mentioned they have come up with a community events calendar. I'm not sure where to find a link for that yet, but where both the Star Atlas community events, so like the Atlas Brew and things like that, are being published. So that's great too, but other people can put events on there. So that was great. And then the bulk of and I guess when they were doing kind of about the town local markets, they did mention there's a Medium article that is linked to in my news recap on my website. So you can get that for, again, we'll call it the official rollout of that outside of the announcement that was in the Star Atlas Discord, which there were I'm not sure there was new information in the Discord. But anyways, those are two places you can look about it. But what was really great about this Atlas Brew, and I guess they've kind of changed out the format a little to invite community members on there, is two of the, I guess we can call them Star Atlas whales. Yeah, I think so. We're there, and they were kind of talking. So they went over some of their thoughts on strategy, also some of their thoughts on the impact for the LP redemption, because now we have still ongoing the golden tickets, still ongoing the LP redemption, and now the local markets and the infrastructure context, the newly renamed RFR things. So anyways, Star Atlas Brew is a great listen. I'm really enjoying this kind of community. Not that the community team is not the community, but bringing up other people up and, talking about different things. So great listen there. Thanks to Star Atlas TV for recording that and posting on his YouTube channel. So next, moving kind of my thoughts on the state of Star Atlas. Obviously, lots of talk about the local markets. So my first thought was, again, I was actually surprised it was released this year. And again, if you listen to my last podcast, I kind of discouraged it. But they timed it well. I guess just less than 2 weeks. But still a very good amount of time if there were any major issues or things like that. They did mention at the Atlas Brew that redemptions of the infrastructure contracts, that's still being worked on. But again, that's perfectly fine. The team's available. There's no, bad whatever because the team's taking their break and they're not able to address something like that. So again, this all feels really good. Great timing. Again, great chance to fix any of those immediate bugs. So overall, I think this December has gone much better than last year. So far, sounds like the rollout's gone smooth. I mean, great to the team, things like that. Yeah, so I have to say it was almost an anticlimactic rollout in the sense that it rolled out. Again, we weren't told the exact day, but again, they have been talking about it a lot. So again, like I mentioned on a couple past podcasts, I think that was great to really explain all the things. And then the actual gameplay comes out, and sure, maybe there was a few bugs and stuff that might take a little extra time, but again, it all feels fine. No one's going to worry about it in the grand scheme of things. So again, I think it's really good. During the Atlas Brew, there were a bunch of strategies mentioned, and I have to admit, again, maybe I'm just not reading the right Discord channels, or these are happening within the guilds, or who knows what, but there does appear already a lot of depth to the available gameplay with talking about fleets and doing this and calculations and things like that. And again, I guess we just don't get exposed to that as, shall we say, the normal or small player, because again, I don't have big enough fleets. And in fact, as I'm mentioning, kind of my thing, the idea of having a scanning fleet, mining fleet, a transport fleet, I was just getting totally burned by Solana transactions, even with, some cargo I could do things with. So obviously larger fleets, whale fleets, they have way more things to worry or things to be able to deal with, but also accomplish. So again, it was great hearing from two people talking about what they're doing. So I think that was really great. The other thing that was good, and I'm very appreciative of this, for people to be more, shall we say, thinking outside their own thing, that, again, there's a lot of things that were open to large players, but they were mentioning some of the changes actually have much more of a benefit to the smaller gamers. So again, as has been mentioned pretty much a long time now about, Star Atlas really does need to be accessible. Even Sage, we could always make the argument that Sage is not for small players. That's fair, but it's all we have right now. So the fact that there may be some smaller things that are available. So I think all of that was great. And it was, again, great hearing from people. I also think the upcoming announcement of the town hall for next week is a great way to end the year, even if there's no releases. I've been saying, based on, I forget who mentioned, but, much like the economic forum, it'd be great if there was a gameplay forum once a week. If they want to do it once a quarter, that's fine too. But I think, again, this will be a great way to end the year on hopefully hope they do a little bit of retrospective, how'd the year go? Yeah, I really hope they do that. And then, where are they thinking for the year ahead? And it sounds like, again, they're going to tackle many different parts of Star Atlas. So I think, again, that's all really great. So yeah, again, not that there was a quiet week because the release of the local markets was big, but it feels like a very natural, steady progression. And I think that made for a good maybe not middle of December, but definitely the working part of December. Anyway, so moving on to my journey, still mining carbon. Again, my goal is, to get a Mamba X. So I've been just keeping the fleet there, mining carbon. Last note I have here off to the side was 18 million. I think I got a few million back at the Central Space Station. Still got to get the 35 million that I calculated that I need. So still doing that. So I guess I would just call it slow and steady checking. But it did feel like there was a lot of Solana issues, lots more red stuff in my Sly Assistant. Yeah, so everything seemed, just slow and steady. There was a mention that some of the infrastructure contracts or local markets might change things and, again, more accessible to smaller players. I'm not opposed to investigating it, but I'm not really sure yet. Yeah, I guess on my journey, I've kind of thought of it more of trading time for resources. So I'm fine that it's taking how long that, I think let's see real quick. Yeah, maybe say 500,000 carbon every 12 hours or something, because I just have to put the resources in. Because my ultimate goal is to get a ship, which, again, it has value to me, but it doesn't really have value. I guess I could sell it, but I want the ship. I don't care about the base value. Yeah, I'm not sure on the local markets if I want to even... Well, I don't know how to investigate that, I guess, because I need to mine carbon. So I guess I could buy carbon, but what am I buying carbon with? And I'm thinking this through. I guess I could say that the inputs, the fuel, food, and ammo, well, I guess it's not really fuel yet, but food and ammo, if I took those amounts that I transported out to that Starbase, sold them, and then purchased carbon, yeah, I mean, I guess it's something I could look at, but I don't know. There's something about the action. So I don't know. But the reason I bring up the local markets is people are talking about there's different things. So could I say go on one of the other materials I need to find, look at different local markets, and again, like they've been talking about, this will turn into a freighter roll. Well, yeah, my fleet's mining, then it stops and becomes transport. So I don't know. It might be something, but I think in the short term, I'll just stick with the carbon because I've done over half. So and I don't have time to really spend to do what sounds like much more of an analysis than just, I got to go get carbon, so go over and do that. But yeah, maybe on the other materials, which are fortunately less volume I need and are further away, yeah, then it might make some sense to see if it would be better to just, I guess, what would it be? You would buy the resource. Yeah, I guess you become the freighter roll, and I would just freight them back to the Central Space Station, because I'm pretty sure I have to still bring everything back to the Central Space Station to get the Mamba X. It would make no sense now, given that I'll have all my hydrogen back at the Central Space Station, to move to one of the other ones, because yeah, you have to move it all. But again, it might make sense to look at maybe not doing the mining loop, but just doing the purchase transport. If I sold the necessary ammo and food used for mining to purchase the thing. Yeah. Now, okay, that kind of makes sense. You would take the inputs, sell them for Atlas, take that Atlas, buy the next material. Okay, well, maybe something to look at. Beyond that, yeah, I really haven't been doing much else on the pure gaming front. Oh, I guess one small thing, because it skipped my mind, because I decided just to stop with the golden tickets. It just wasn't, again, I wasn't putting a lot of money into it, but it was more of, I hate to say, it's just checking it once a week and finding out you didn't win anything. And it kind of, I guess the same thing with playing the lottery. You buy one ticket, but then you need a long time to go away before you're willing to buy the other ticket, because you're not going to win either way. So kind of just a, lack of continuing with it. So yeah, kind of stopped doing that. So yeah, just still focused on mining my carbon. We'll see how many more weeks that takes. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for listening. Again, totally open for podcast guests, though again, I totally did not reach out to anybody this month. And next week I am completely swamped at my business, trying to both onboard a few new clients, which is awesome to get some new clients in December, but also keep the other clients and wrap everything up before taking off some time when total benefit of being a business owner. I can completely make my own vacation schedule, but I still have to communicate to my clients. So I compromise. No new work on projects. I'll just do my checks to make sure their different marketing efforts are continuing on through the holidays. So hard to, just no time on the guests. But I would be interested in guests. So if you would like to be a guest on the podcast, either as a community member who wants to talk about the week in review, love to talk to any content creators, any IP builders, obviously anybody on the Star Atlas team, love to chat. Please just go to intergalacticherald.com, look for my contact page, drop me a note that way. And again, my one active Star Atlas project is my merch store, intergalacticgear.com. Please take a look at it. There's some mugs. No, I didn't do any Black Friday. No, I don't know when to ship. Again, it's just sitting there. Biggest goal, like I've been saying, is I need to put more products out. But anyways, check it out, intergalacticgear.com. And if, again, you're interested in being kind of a founding member of a new Star Atlas community of gamers who aren't members of guilds, but nevertheless want to get together, maybe more asynchronously with threads and email alerts, please check out intergalacticcoalition.com. And that pretty much wraps it up. So thanks for listening. I hope you have a great week ahead. This is Matt with the Intergalactic Herald.